Are there really different levels to the drums? Are some drummers really better than others? Can we really test people's ability? Or is it all subjective? In the eye of the beholder? Is one person's Vinny another person's not Vinny? Well, I'm going to give you my opinions, and I'm going to give you 3 things to think about, which could change your mind. I'm going to try to make as scientific an argument as I can, through multiple layers of what it means to be a musician. That's all ahead. But first, smash that subscribe button. Just kidding, you know I don't do that. But seriously first, origin story. This year I've made a lot of videos about what musical talent is and how to judge our abilities. From my video about whether Caravan, as portrayed in Whiplash, is realistically a difficult tune of the type a real high-level college big band would play, to my video on the Dunning-Kruger effect, and why people with just a little ability tend to rate their skills higher than people with a lot of ability, to my video on the 10,000 hour rule, and whether we can grow talent. Those are all well and good if you accept that there are levels to this drum game. Otherwise, why waste 10,000 hours? But people leave a certain type of comment on my videos with surprising consistency. It goes something like this, and I'm paraphrasing because as I wrote this, I didn't want to dig up the actual comments, but I'll flash some on the screen. Quote, "There's no better or worse in drums. It all comes down to taste. Art is subjective, and imposing a hierarchy on it misses the point." Screenshot of actual comment 1, screenshot of actual comment 2. So you get the picture, right? And here's what makes this inconvenient. In at least one very real sense, they're right. But wait, if they're right, why are we wasting our time in the shed? Don't worry, we'll get into it. Give me 10 hot seconds to slip in the channel theme though, huh? I'm going to go from easiest to dispute argument to most difficult. Let's start with the completely practical reality that Justin Brown is way better in recording sessions than I am, in ways totally unrelated to our personal styles. Justin and I could both take as much time as we needed getting comfortable with the tunes on a new record of original music. Then we could have a discussion about taste. We could say Justin's version was choppier than mine and that mine was more spare or something. And that's a valid argument, one I'll talk about later. But we're not in a vacuum. Justin comes in and reads other people's music and sounds his best almost instantaneously. If I came into the studio, I'd take more time to get up to speed before I sounded my best. And I'm not trying to be modest, there are plenty of people with less experience than I have who might take even longer. And studio time costs money. It's the same if you're going on tour. JP Bouvet got up to speed on Periphery's whole catalog in just a week.
My friend Matt Halpern just called and asked if I could sub for a Periphery gig this weekend on Saturday. Today it's Tuesday.
If you handed that to me, let alone that I don't play metal, it would not go so well. So, from the highly practical standpoint of deciding whom to hire for a recording session or a gig, there are some players who will make a band feel great almost immediately and cost less time, money, hassle, and worry. And there's clearly a spectrum there. Now it's time for But Wait, number 1. But wait, not everybody's a session drummer. Plenty of bands take their time learning the catalog, and somebody coming off the street and learning the whole book in a week is irrelevant. Then you're left just judging the difference between a chop hound like Thomas Pridgen playing with Radiohead and Philip Selway playing with Radiohead. Subjective! It's true. Once we're in the place where we're judging Thomas Pridgen sitting in with Radiohead against Philip Selway, it's subjective. But it's time for our next layer. Sure, they play different styles. Just like sometimes you want to listen to math metal, and other times you want to listen to the Beatles. And I agree with the critics here. It would be stupid to compare Ringo to Mike Portnoy. Both were masters of their respective styles. But here's the bit I believe they're missing. Thomas and Philip are both way better at some basic things than your average, inexperienced garage band drummer. They're the things I talked about in my 5 subtle skills video. Locking up with the band. Musical instincts and dynamics, making the instrument sound good. Timing and feel.
Put the windows down, 'cause it's getting hotter in here. Yeah, I know you feel it now.
Knowing how to create a mood and win the audience during a performance. Not to mention songwriting chops, but let's leave that aside for now. As I said in the 5 skills video, these skills cut across genre. Both Vinny and Ringo are good at them. Both Mike Portnoy and Patrick Carney from the Black Keys. Both Eric Moore and Roger Moore. Just kidding, both Eric Moore and Charlie Watts. Both Dennis Chambers and Mitch Mitchell. I could go on, but now it's time for But Wait number 2. But wait! Not everybody's trying to get gigs with a band, let alone go multi-platinum and tour the world. Quit trying to win music. What if you just want to play for the sheer enjoyment of it? Let's leave aside for a second that making music with others will feel better if you can keep the timing, keep the form in the songs, and play with groove and dynamics. But wait! Who says you have to play in a box when you're playing with others? Brian Eno used to pull out cards with weird instructions like, everybody switch instruments. And it helped make some of the greatest Bowie albums in the last part of the century. Miles Davis told John McLaughlin to play like he didn't know how to play the guitar, and it made that album magical. Dude, would you quit interrupting me? Okay, you're right. Keith Jarrett was also known to say, of Jack DeJohnette, that he played more boring when he knew where the 1 was. In my opinion, and feel free to disagree, if you take great musicians and confuse them a little, it's like watching Max Holloway in a street fight, or Superman defeat Kryptonite. Alright already, damn! The point is, it's great musicians innovating around obstacles. But novice musicians would just sound boring. Anyway, on to the last point. But what if you don't care about playing with other people? You just want to make music for your own pleasure? This is the last gasp of the subjectivity argument. It's like Luke on the ledge of the Cloud City with nowhere to go but down. Yeah, what if you're not playing in the studio or going on tour, so you don't have to learn stuff quickly? And you're not even playing with a band. So there's little danger of annoying musicians by, say, not being able to keep a beat. I reject your arbitrary definition of time, man. My beat pushes and pulls, and that's just as valid as everybody else's. Well, not quite. Because even if you're just practicing in your basement, what you're able to figure out without relying on people who came before you is limited. How long would it take you practicing on your own to learn that this Steve Gadd lick was a thing? Or you could just listen to Steve Gadd. How long would it take you practicing on your own to learn that this was a thing? Or you could just listen to Bernard Purdie or Jeff Porcaro. One leading theory of why human beings now have iPhones and SpaceX, while our ape ancestors live basically the same lives they did 500,000 years ago, is that we humans can bootstrap learning. So that the species gets better, so that every newborn isn't trying to figure it all out for himself. And if you're taking stuff from Steve, Bernard, and Jeff, by definition, you're getting better. But there's another argument I like even better. We're wired to like small challenges. If you had a video game that was the same level over and over again, you'd get bored in a hurry. People have studied this. So even if you're just playing at home for the sheer enjoyment, you're gonna have a lot more fun if you challenge yourself. Play along with that AC/DC record. Get your right foot as fast as Bonham's. And if you're doing that, sorry to say, but you're going to get better. But art is subjective. Some days I want to listen to Ron Bruner, and others I want to listen to Paul Motion. I'm sorry, just one more. Some days Tony Williams, other days Mel Lewis. But all these guys were functional as musicians with a band. And failing that, all of them were pushing themselves towards something, even if it wasn't the same goal. And if you concede there's something to strive for, you have to concede that levels exist, though maybe not as narrowly as we sometimes imagine. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this quick meditation on drum ability. And if you're interested in improving your drum ability, there are a couple of channel sponsors you might want to check out. Sort of like other YouTubers are sponsored by Skillshare, except that I'm sponsored by myself. The great 80/20 Drummer Courses Plus, let's call it. And if you'd like a completely free gateway drug to those premium materials, you can click the link below the player and enter your email address in on the next page. And I'll send you 3 videos completely free, which I don't share on YouTube, and which I swear to you, hand to God, me to you, will improve your playing more in the next 3 weeks than it's improved in the last 6 months. Dudes, it's been real. See you again real soon for another lesson of the week. Thank you.